this one first, or?
Of course.
Yeah, just a few words, and then.
I mean, always want to say a few words. I want to say thank you to all of you guys for coming out today. I noticed today the players, they were on point, on time, and I think to some extent what is happening here in the team, I like what we're doing. I want you guys to continue, because again, we do not have a team without players. Obviously, we could have great management, but again, without players, we don't have a team. And obviously right now also having players and not having coaches, again, we will not be able to win. So it's a combination of both, and I kind of like the fact that you guys like what we're doing, and all of you guys are here, dressed properly, and I like it very much.
Thank you, thank you. Give it up for our president, give it up for our president. So we're gonna move up with our program. Pretty much, we don't have a lot on our program. I'm gonna introduce the head of coach, Christian Toronzo. Torizo, give it up for Christian Torizo. Yeah, I told you if I start speaking Spanish, it can be better.
Good evening, guys. Like the president said, you know, things will be changing, and I'm glad that we're catching up quickly. Thank you guys for coming out. Those of you who took the time to come out here, same for people on this side. Thank you guys for coming out. We're very excited to start this project, and you know, ready to start. On my left, I have assistant coach Michael Vasquez. Next to him, we have Junior Herrera, the goalkeeper coach. A little bit, Son, yeah, I wanted you to introduce him. Son, we have been working for some quite time now. We go back to maybe 3 years now that we've been working together, Michael and myself. Junior, I played with him since we were maybe 16, 15 years old, right? And I've known him for many years. And we worked together in 2021, winning the national championship for UPSL Premier. He was my goalkeeper trainer, did an unbelievable job with the keepers. So, you know, I'm trying to build a great coaching staff here, the best coaching staff that we can have. People that are loyal and that are dedicated and that love the game, most of all. That way we could transmit that to the players, and you know, to everyone that comes aboard. So, you know, for now that's all I have to say. I don't know if you want to pick it up.
Thank you.
If you have to now, Mike, Junior.
I want to thank everybody for giving me a chance. The coaches, thank you for believing in me. That is the program, and I believe with the new staff, we're gonna make it so. We're gonna go far, and I believe in everybody here, players, coaches,
definitely,
right? And you will hear something good for this year.
Definitely. So, say a few words, Cecil.
Salut tout le monde là. C'est un plaisir de vous déplacer de non, moi c'est Joannis, c'est mon famille. Oui, non, moi c'est Pierre.
My first name is Pierre.
Ma président, nous avons connecté depuis les projets à
We've been connected since the beginning.
Si on bon projet,
it's a beautiful project.
nous souhaitons les projets à sortir sur le terrain.
When the project coming out,
pour grand public la déplacer de ce côté. Parce que nous avons staff là, nous avons assistant coach. Et moi-même, comme moi ici, moi là pour m'apprendre et moi là pour partager ça me connaît tout. Parce que j'ai l'expérience dans le jeu là et son plaisir pour moi.
Give it up, give it up, give it up. All right, next, I don't know if I want to make sure I pronounce the name correct. Junior Oswaldo. Herrera. All right, good. Herrera. Now we have Michael Vasquez. Give it up for Michael Vasquez. I will translate for you.
Bueno, creo que todo. Gracias, presidente.
You gotta go Google Translate, that's what it's saying. I was joking. All right, Jesse.
Primero que todo, gracias a todos por venir, a los jugadores, al presidente por invitarnos, a toda la gente que ha venido hoy a acompañar esta buena presentación. Muy ansioso por empezar, de verdad que nos dieron una gran bienvenida y esperemos demostrarlo con trabajo. Gracias.
Gracias. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
Reason why we changed the entire coaching staff. We started the training in August 24th. The vision that I have for the team is not where it's going. By communicating with head coach Christian Turizo over the past few weeks prior to the game and seeing his history, his winning record connect with me because I want to win everything. So if I want to win everything, I want somebody who has that record, who has the history, who also wants to win everything. And winning everything comes with discipline, which his very first approach to me when obviously he sent me an email to let me know exactly what he wants in the team, what he's expecting. At first, I thought it comes authoritative. But obviously, it's where he's saying that, listen, this is what I want. I'm very disciplined. This is what I want, and this is where I want to get the team. So he and I, we started speaking. So with the history of Coach Turizo, and obviously I get to the point of relying and trusting on his judgment and speaking with each and every one of them. On our very first game, I was in the back, as I do most of the time. I just stay in the back observing. I like to observe before I speak. I was observing assistant coach Michael Vasquez, whether or not if Coach Turizo is there. If Coach Turizo is not around, Michael Vasquez himself can lead the game because I was observing what's going on. Now, yes, I have not seen Junior work, but considering the fact that Coach Turizo has a winning attitude, so I'm relying on him, and I know that Junior is going to deliver because if they've been working together, he recommend him. So I know we're gonna win. Sanson has been, again, Pierre Joannis. Obviously, we all call him Sanson. We all call him Sanson. Pierre Joannis has been around. He's been coaching himself at colleges, so he does have his history. And over the past 6, 7, 8 months that we've been speaking, he's a very dedicated individual. He says what he has to say, and then he moves on. And I can rely on that by knowing that as president and also general manager, unfortunately for me, whether or not I'm underpaid doing the training, which I will not, especially the first 2 months, because again, as an accountant, as of next week, I'm going to be busy. I know you guys are in great hands. Wonderful leadership as a coaching, and I know that for a fact. I have some great players among us. Yes, sometimes we do need some discipline. Sometimes we speak with one another, but everything that I'm saying, again, I know one other player reassured me, well, I'm not going to say another player, Marvin, reassured me, despite what you guys are doing as players, crowding around, there's a lot of love among one another. A lot of love, a lot of respect, which is exactly what we want. Love, respect, and you guys can talk, but when you get on the field, let your feet do the talking. respect every opponent. We don't fear anyone. I've watched you guys play against Barcelona. I know, based on what I saw, if you guys really come out, we're gonna create a lot of problems, and we are building something great. Okay?
That's what's up. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Now we're gonna open the floor if you guys have any questions. And raise your hand and feel free to ask any questions. And open the floor for you guys. Any questions? Yeah, questions? From once. You have a question back there? Players, you want to say a few words? Over there? No questions?
See, guys.
We have one back here. Alright, go ahead.
First, I'd like to thank the staff for showing up today, and also to being the new catalyst in soccer, especially in the Asian community. And you pointed out something that is very, very, very bad. That is the Achilles heel of Asian soccer players, discipline. So I want to ask the coach, how is he going to emphasize discipline on us?
Well, where I've been, like I told these guys over the weekend, we've been successful because from day one, we implement discipline, right? How? We set rules, right? And those rules have to be followed. If you cannot keep up with the rules, you cannot be a part of the team, unfortunately. And it's simple, right? I'm human, and I understand everybody, you know, might run into a little problem every now and then, and that's fine. I'll give you a first strike, maybe a second strike. But if it becomes constant, then we have a problem, right? I could just show up to the player or go up to the player and tell him, listen, this is not the right time for you to be here. You know, maybe there's going to be another time where you're going to be more available and more committed to the team. So, you know, I handle those things that way. But it's very simple. I mean, I manage my teams like professionals, because I believe that's how it's supposed to be. So everybody has to manage themselves, not only when they're with the team, but outside, because we're trying to get followers from the community. We're trying to be role models for the community, and we want these guys, when they're out on the street wearing the OSNER'S shirts and this badge on their chest, we want them to show that they're, you know, good people for the community. So I'm a big believer of discipline, you know, with timing, and it's things that become a habit after you get it done. After you do it for a month, it becomes a habit. Everything becomes easy. Like I said, you know, I'm flexible with sometimes, but if I see that it's not working out, then I will just let you know and we move on. There's hundreds of players ready to jump on board and ready to play. So we can always find a replacement. Don't think that, you know, you're replaceable, because that's not true. Okay, so that's one thing that I've told these guys since the beginning. Rules are made to be followed.
Gotcha. Next question. Right, back there. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
First of everything, I want to say welcome, coach. And I was happy to have you start last weekend, and it was a great experience. As I texted a text message to say how grateful I was for the opportunity that you gave us, and me especially. So my question would be, what would the project look like as for OSNER'S for the season? Since we're now about to join the NPSL, it's a new league and we can say professional. So what would the project look like?
Well, we set goals, right, for everything we do as we go, and the goal is to first qualify into playoffs, right? Have a competitive team, qualify into playoffs. As you know, we're going to be competing in 3 leagues, so it's going to be very tough. You got to have a big roster, right? And obviously, we're going to move players around where they belong. And the goal is to always qualify in the top 3, and then win playoffs, and then eventually win everything, because that's the main goal. But if that's not the case, if we don't win, the idea is to at least do a great job, where you know it's gonna be a good process for the following season, right? So the idea is to always set goals and you know, short-term goals and then eventually long-term goals. And as for the club, we wanna start many things, academy, eventually women's soccer and everything that involves getting the community involved, right? So we have many things going on, and I've been talking to Ronald, the president, about, you know, international and big things that are coming. And everywhere we go, we always try to bring that with us, because we feel that it's a good chance not only for the international players coming aboard, but for the local guys to eventually, guys that can go abroad and, you know, international and play at different levels, play different countries, different cultures. So we, you know, we have big plans for the club, as always.
Great.
I set big goals. The big goals that I set, I want to win all this year. Because basically I'd like to see if next year we could be, just goal setting. I am high, I always am high in life, in business, I am high, is to be able to qualify for US Open next year, 2026. So I set big goals. Okay? And the goals that I set is not just for the coaching staff, obviously, it's for the players. This is where we want to be in 2026. Okay?
That's good. We're gonna take two more questions again. After that, we're gonna move forward. Any more questions?
Junior.
Junior,
Junior, in his hand.
all right, Junior, go ahead.
No, I'm good. Go ahead, man. It's your turn.
All right, go ahead.
What is your coaching philosophy?
Well, I think I mentioned it before, with discipline, getting the community involved, but I'm big on players understanding our system. Coachable players, first of all, because you can have the best player around, but if he's not coachable, it's going to be very hard to work with that player. So I believe that, you know, we always look for players that, besides being talented, being great human beings, right? Players that we could work with, players that we can give them a message that they can send out for us. So I think that's part of our philosophy, thinking that, you know, we do deal with different cultures, because we're going to have players from the Lion community and with the Haitian player from the Caribbean. So it's going to be a good mix. New York is a great spot for that, because I'm sure these guys deal with, you know, different cultures every day. But having them as teammates, it's going to be key, right? Having them be on the field and send out that message for the rest of the community. I think that's our philosophy, building and making better human beings for you know, for the world, for the community, however you want to see it.
That's great. One more, and then after that, we're gonna move to one more question. One more. Back here. Come on, guys. Questions. Come on. Yeah, back there.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
my question is like, what is the vision for the team in 5 years? And would you have a vision for each player? Like, would you have give them a vision?
I think those are two different questions. Maybe you can answer the first one, and then.
You put it to your, I still last.
Well, I think I mentioned it before, where we want to see you guys go to the next level, right? And that has to come from you. We could teach you everything we want and everything we have in our hands. We have all the tools, we give them to you. But at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that have to deliver, right? You guys are the ones that, what do you do when you're not training? Are you doing extra work? You know, everything that you do outside of here, it's what's gonna determine where you're gonna go. Even if you don't make it, because the percentage of making it professional is very little, right? But if you walk out of here saying, hey, you know what? I was great you know, I was part of a great team where I learned all this stuff, and now, you know, in a few years, if you want to coach, it's some stuff that you can take with you and pass it along, because that's what I did when I played. I had great coaches. For me, I had great coaches all over, because even the ones that were not that good, I learned how not to coach. So it was a learning lesson, right? So everything for me was a learning lesson. So I think that now I want to pass that on to you guys and everyone around in the club, so you guys could go and pass it on, right? And keep going and growing like a big tree, with different branches and a strong root. Okay?
That's right. Thank you.
Now, the second part of the question, you said, where do I see the team 5 years from now? From the very beginning, it's very clear. NPSL, UPSL is a starting point. While it's a starting point, obviously we all have to start somewhere, but the goal is to be fully professional, whether, again, I'm not gonna say MLS, because that's the very top division, but it's to be in Division 3, USL 1, or MLS Next Pro. While we have a 3 years to 4 years to do that, but we are constantly working on that. As late as this week, myself and Director of Operations, Johnny Saint-Ville, we were already looking out at other venue in New Jersey where we played to see exactly whether or not if I could have a letter of intent with USL 1, just so at least to know. Because again, once you get into those leagues, it does not necessarily mean I have to start in 2026. I can have, them accept me, I start in 2027, 2028. So they give you time to build it up. So we're always looking, but regardless where we're going to go, as I spoke to the coach recently, I don't want to go to USL 1 or MLS Next Pro without having a base of fans following us. We have to build it now, make our name now. And when we do go to a USL 1, MLS Next Pro, at that point we have people following us wherever we go, because we may not find an expansion for either USL 1 or MLS Next Pro in Brooklyn. It may be outside of Brooklyn. But if we do have fans, if we do what we need to do, make our names, and you guys stand, show, people will follow you. They're not gonna follow me. I'm the president, but they're gonna follow the players. They're gonna follow the players. So this is what, again, to reiterate what Coach Turizo said, when you guys are on the pitch, you represent OSNER, and when you are off the pitch, you represent OSNER and yourself, because the community, they're looking at you. They see you guys more than they see me, because I'm most of the time in an office, but you guys are outside.
That's right. All right, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break. 5 minute break, and we'll be right back. So.